Had the lead, then was passed by Jeff Purvis. Now he comes in, keeping under the 70-mile-an-hour speed limit down pit road. He stops on the marks, and the crew goes to work.
See, the Jackman almost tripped and fell down as he went across. Car's a little slow going up on the right side.
Checking the left side tires. They appear to be okay. You get new rubber only on the right side. And about almost 23-second pit stop for Kimmel.
Looks like that car went down a little bit quick on the right side with that lug nuts. I hope they got the lug nuts.
Got to stay
under that yellow line.
The yellow line.
Yep. Good point, Bob.
That's the blend line. Leader Jeff Purvis has been just about all race long. And the average speed of the race is 133.721. The track record 153.2. But of course, we had to slow down because of the big crash that occurred on lap number 3. Eliminated about 20 cars, but resulted in no driver injuries. More from Daytona International Speedway and the ARCA 200 in a moment. As ESPN resumes its stock car coverage for 1993, bringing you same-day coverage of the ARCA 200 from Daytona International Speedway. Of course, we had the Rolex 24 that was held here last week on the air last night, along with our Bush Pole qualifying show. And we have a couple of other events coming up here at Daytona. 2 speed weeks coming up next weekend, 1 live call-in show, and we'll also have the Goodies 300 for you next Sunday evening.
Well, Jeff Purvis has just left the 6th place man. He's on the same straightaway with the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place men. He has about a 30-second lead.
Whoa.
Made a good pit stop, running awfully fast, too. So you put that combination together, and you move away.
That's right. He only put fuel in the car where some of the cars did change tires. Loy Allen changed tires, and Kirk Shelmerdine had all kinds of trouble putting gas in his car. So,
you know who the crew chief is on this car, don't you?
Loy Allen's car? I mean,
no, Purvis, Gary Ballou.
Really? Yep. I heard someone mention Gary Ballou a moment ago, and I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Great driver in his own right.
He sure was. Jeff has 7 starts in ARCA competition and has led in all 7. Now, here is the battle for 3rd position as several of the cars made pit stops and therefore fell back in the serial. 2nd place belongs to Jeremy Mayfield. Here's 3rd and 4th. Kirk Shelmerdine and Loy Allen Jr.
And these guys have had themselves a race all day long.
They have run right together, and they're coming up on the car number 95, who is currently running in 2nd place, Jeremy Mayfield. They are only about 15 car lengths.
There he is, the white car right in front of him.
They are gaining as they hook up in the draft.
So that's going to be the race for 2nd place as soon as they get there.
Well, John Kernan is down in Kirk Shelmerdine's pit. And, John, you got a further explanation on the trouble that he experienced during that pit stop?
Yes, Bob, I do. This is a standard catch can. You see this piece of metal that sticks out? You put this in the overflow at the rear of the trunk. This opens a valve, which when the fuel goes into the tank, it allows the air to escape, thus allowing the fuel to go in, replacing the air. What happened was, with their catch can, they didn't have one of the piece of metal to open up that escape valve. So they had an airlock. The fuel just could not go in, so Kirk is going to have to pit again because Mike Connor says they did not get enough fuel into the car. Now let's go down to Loy Allen's pit with Dr. Jerry Punch.
John, a minute ago we saw Loy Allen's crew have trouble with the right rear tire. Then the car seemed to stall, but that's not really what happened at all, Mark Cooter. What happened to the car?
Well, on the pit stop, the clutch wouldn't release on the Hooters Ford. The right rear tire was spinning. We had to kill the engine in order to change the right side tires.
So it's pretty hard to change a tire, guys, when the clutch doesn't release and the right rear tire is going maybe about 80 or 90 miles an hour. Pretty hard to find those lug nuts.
Yeah, so many guys have went to a hydraulic clutch in these race cars. And yet they're having trouble. Sometimes that hydraulics just will not release. Mark Martin was telling me that twice last year he had a clutch problem. And they're going back to the old mechanical type clutch where there is not a problem. That you push the clutch in and mechanically it releases.
Disengages.
Yes, and not hydraulically. So I would imagine that's exactly what happened. He had a hydraulic clutch in his car.
Well, Kirk Shelmerdine is in second position, and Loy Allen Jr. is in third. But as you heard John Kernan say, Kirk is going to have another pit stop because they didn't get enough fuel in the car. But right now, it's a pretty good battle between those two drivers.
And we talk about experienced drivers. You know, they're getting experience on big racetracks and what have you. Well, we see that pit crews need experience, too. We've watched the pit crews today and say, look, these guys take 18 seconds to change 2 tires. And Kirk Shelmerdine, they couldn't get any gas in the car. These are what you have to do, what you have to learn to be able to make pit stops like Earnhardt's crew and Darrell Waltrip's crew and Kyle Petty's crew, all the rest of them on Winston Cup.
Another field summary for you showing 5 cars on the lead lap at the 56th lap mark. 24 to go, right?
I don't know what to say.
56 laps completed out of 80.
That's good.
20
Perfect. Yeah.
And there goes the leader, Jeff Purvis, by the 5th place car.
So he's trying to go by.
Yeah.
No way, he hasn't passed him yet.
Yeah.
We've got a race, Bob.
Well,
watch this.
What do you want to bet he passes him?
Well, I don't know.
Down the back stretch.
See, look at it. He's not passing him.
Yeah, well,
not yet. Okay, he passed.
That's the car number 18 of Robert Ham from Auburn, Alabama, the Budweiser Chevrolet.
And Purvis is like he is on a rail, Jerry, looking real good.
Bob, this could be the beginning of a very big week for the youngster from Clarksville, Tennessee. We mentioned before they bought this car from Larry McClure, Morgan McClure Racing, Ernie Irvin. Well, actually, they bought 3 race cars from that same team. Purvis plans on running this race today. Next Saturday's Goodies 300, which you'll be able to see on ESPN. And, of course, the Daytona 500. So it could be the first of 3 events, possibly 3 wins for a young man from Tennessee.
Boy, that's doing a lot of work during stock car speed weeks, isn't it?
It is doing a lot of work, but it's getting a lot of experience. Yep. And right now, Jeff Purvis, around 30 years old, that's what he needs, is experience, lap after lap on these racetracks. Race for second, there's Kirk Shelmerdine. In front, the white car, the white and orange car, the Hooters Ford. It's Loy Allen out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
He won the last race of the year at Atlanta in 1992, so he carries some momentum over into 1993.
As a matter of fact, Loy Allen this year is going to run 3 Winston Cup events. So not only ARCA, he's going to run some events, Busch Brown National Park, but also 3 Winston Cup events with some help from Nationally Fresh, one of the companies owned by Hooters.
Here, Bob mentioned carried over the momentum. He also carried sponsorship over, too, because that win at Atlanta, I think, helped to solidify that sponsorship.
5th place car of Robert Ham is in the pits.
We saw him get lapped just a moment ago. Now he's coming in the pits, cleaning the windshield. Look at the tires. 1 can of fuel has gone in.
That should be all right.
Fuel. Yeah, the car is full of fuel. He drives back out. As Ned Jarrett mentioned a moment ago, 70 miles an hour is the speed limit on pit road.
Out on the racetrack, Jeff Purvis has just completed lap number 60, so we have 20 more to go in the ARCA 200. A race that got off to a rather bad start with the big crash, but we've had no major incidents since then. Jeff McClure was the reason for this only other caution of the day. That's when he had some contact with the 3rd and 4th turn wall, but that was a minor incident, at least in terms of damage to the car. So
spin up in turn 2.
Well, just as I say, it's been pretty clean. We have a spin in turn number 2.
And I was also about to mention that Kirk Shelmerdine needs a caution. If he's going to have to stop again, not many cars in the lead lap, he's going to get it.
John Stratman is the driver in trouble up in turn number 2. The car went up the banking and may have hit the wall, but he didn't hit it very hard, I don't believe.
He just came out of the pits about 2 or 3 laps ago.
And we can see a little bit of damage to the rear of the car. It looked like he went up and hit the wall ever so gently, not very hard.
But it does bring out our 3rd caution of the afternoon. Now, this will, of course, allow Kirk Shelmerdine to come in and get that fuel that he needs, so it's a good break for Kirk Shelmerdine.
And another break. There's not a lot of cars left running. We've crashed about 20, 22, 3 cars, so when he restarts the race, he will not have that many cars to pass to get back to the front.
Well, with only 4 of them in the lead lap, so he'll be able to pull right up there.
Yep. rescue vehicles going to John Stratman's car, which is now in the grass at the bottom of turn 2, as Jeff Purvis has slowed down on the backstretch and allows the rest of the field to catch up with him. Pace car has the field in tow, and the wrecker has arrived at Stratman's car.
I'd like to see those rescue workers walk up and just casually start talking to the driver.
Yeah.
Looks like, is that the driver walking around? Yes. That's him, isn't it? No, sorry. Thought yeah, there he is. He's outside, has his helmet on. There you go.
So John's okay. Car's damaged. He's out of the race.
The nurse said, come on, let's give you a ride to the hospital. He said, let me see how bad the damage is first. Will I know whether to have a heart attack or not?
Okay, well, who's going to pit, guys?
Well, Kirk Shelmerdine's going to pit.
Yeah, we know that.
I'd say, but I would
Nobody
be surprised.
else.
Yeah, I would be surprised if Purvis comes in. He has enough fuel to go the rest of the way. The car is just working great, so he is not pitting. The pits are open.
Loy Allen Jr.
See, they were pretty far back towards the tail end of the pack because they were not far from being lapped.
Yeah.
There comes Kirk Shelmerdine.
Yeah. Loy Allen Jr. is going to stay out. Shelmerdine is coming in. John Kernan, he's headed toward you.
Bob, I tell you, you've never seen a happier bunch of guys in this Mike Connor-led crew of Kirk Shelmerdine's. They heard about the caution, and they went nuts down here. They were slapping each other on the back, crossing their fingers, going, boy, we really needed that. So Kirk pulls in, this time under caution. There's the thumbs up from the gas man. The gas is flowing in. They're only going to put in 1 can of fuel. Kirk waiting. The fuel's already, fueling has been complete. Now they're checking on the right side, checking the tires. We go down to Dr. Jerry Punch, who's with Gary Ballou.
And Gary Blue, the crew chief for Jeff Purvis. And Gary, you guys wouldn't even think about coming down pit road.
No, the car's driving real good right now. He said it's just a little tight, and we fueled it, and, you know, that loosened the chassis back up. But the car's driving real good, and there's just really no sense in coming in and maybe having a problem here in the pit. So we're going to stay out and just try to finish this thing up where we're at.
Now, car owner James Finch gave you a message to relay to your driver. What did he say?
He said just stand on the gas and get after him.
He told him to check out, which is what Jeff Purvis is going to try to do when they drop the green.
Well, he has successfully done so in previous restarts, and we'll see if he can when the green comes out this time. We'll take another break and be back with more of the ARCA 200 from Daytona International Speedway. And
Chocolate Myers.
Chocolate, I couldn't think of his first name. How could I forget Chocolate's name?
He's the gas man for the
Dale
Earnhardt car on the Winston Cup, talking to Kirk Shelmerdine's mechanic.
Getting set for a restart. You can see that the scoreboard shows that 63 laps have been completed, and the #1 car that started in first position is the leader of the race, and the #2 car that started in second position is second. And we only have 4 cars on the lead lap. Shelmerdine is third, and in fourth position is Jeremy Mayfield.
I tell you what, Kirk has done a heck of a job today, hasn't he, Ned?
He really has. He has driven as well as you could drive. Had that little problem with the gas in the pits, but they came back, got this caution, so they're set to go. Let's see what he can do now on a restart.
Well, it is a sad time for the sports world with the news last night of the death of Arthur Ashe, who passed away last night from pneumonia. Our hearts are with Arthur Ashe and his family. And also we in the auto racing community lost a competitor last week as Connie Saylor died of cancer in Johnson City, Tennessee. Connie was a 3-time starter in the Daytona 500, competed in many ARCA races during his career.
I took diet pills. I lost 30.
International Speedway in the ARCA 200, and we're just about to go green from the third caution period of the afternoon. Here's our AutoZone race recap. This was before the caution flag came out. Jeff Purvis had led 52 of the 61 laps, 3 caution periods, total of 8 laps, 6 lead changes among 4 drivers, and an average speed of 145.20 miles an hour. The list of drivers and cars out of the race is a long one, mainly because of an accident on the 3rd lap between turns 3 and 4 that eliminated about 20 cars. But there are the drivers that have fallen out of competition. And the lap leaders, Jeff Purvis, Loy Allen Jr., Frank Kimmel, and Kirk Shelmerdine has also led a lap. Here is that big crash that occurred on lap number 3.
Going in the third corner, the blue car on the inside, Bob Shack. We see he goes up, he touches Tim Feedwell. That's the red car. And then the cars, they were racing for third spot, and Ned, nowhere to go.
When the front cars up towards the front of the pack gets in trouble and they start spinning, there is nowhere to go for the others coming in there at full speed, and about half of the field involved.
But the good news was that no driver injuries were sustained at all. All drivers were able to walk away without any injuries. And so the lights on top of the pace car are out. The field is lined up for the restart, and we should be going back to green here in just a moment. Now, Bobby Boucher in number 21 is the car lined up right inside of the leader, Jeff Purvis. He is in 5th position. He'll be trying to get the lap back, but if history holds true, Purvis is going to run away.
Yes, it's going to be awfully difficult to get the lap back from Jeff Purvis because that Chevrolet Lumina has been awfully fast. Green flag, here they go.
Loy Allen Jr. is in 2nd position. 3rd is Mayfield now. And Kirk Shelmerdine back to 4th position. Those are the only 4 cars that are on the lead lap.
Now, Loy Allen was able to pull up, well, I started to say reasonably close, but look at Purvis now try to stretch it out. And that's what he wanted to do. His father was telling him, get on it, try to stay in the draft, pull away from those other 2 cars that are in the lead lap, and at least maybe you can finish 2nd in this race if you can't pass Purvis.
ARCA has a rule that you can't start on the outside line with 25 laps to go. Frank Kimmel, if you're a lap down. Frank Kimmel was a lap down. He lined up on the outside. We understand he's going to be given a black flag for that infraction. Here's Kirk Shelmerdine trying to get by. No, that's Mayfield trying to go by Bobby Boucher. That's Shelmerdine, the other white car.
Yep, sneaking up on the back end of Mayfield's car. Now looking toward the outside. There is the black flag for those who lined up on the outside row that weren't on the lead lap. Shelmerdine not able to take away 3rd position from Mayfield.
He has a pretty good run coming off of turn 2. I don't know if he's pretty far back. Now they're all dipped down to the inside. Purvis trying to break the draft from the cars behind him.
Hey, guys, this thing's about over. You know, there's only 14 laps to go.
You got it. Shelmerdine looks high this time in the 3rd turn.
That's where he has done most of his passing all day long. He's comfortable up there.
Ooh, he almost had a run on him coming off the corner. He probably will try it on the outside down in 1. Because you're right, Ned. He seems to be comfortable up high.
The car's working well for him up there.
There's Frank Kimmel, who did make the wrong position on the restart and had to come in for a stop-and-go penalty. Kimmel now moving again. He was running in 6th position.
Never seen Mayfield is pulled down trying to break the draft on Shelmerdine. Race for 3rd place.
Now, he has a good run coming off of turn 2 this time. Let's see if he can build enough momentum, or off of turn 4, I should say.
And look at that. They've gained on the 2nd place car. They just about caught Loy Allen.
The interval is lessening between 2nd and 3rd and 4th.
And it's widening between 1st and 2nd.
That's right.
That's another good point, Ned.
Well, how about it? If these 3 guys would hook up in the draft, might they be able to catch Purvis? He's sure been awful strong, but will the draft have that much of an effect?
I don't think they're catching him. I don't think you've got the horses to catch him.
Yeah, they're hooked up in a draft right now, and he's pulling away from him.
Jerry Punch, what do you think down in the pit area?
Well, Jeff Purvis seems to be concerned primarily about 1 car and 1 car only. He said Loy Allen Jr. may be the only car on the track with enough horsepower to be able to run with me. But if Loy Allen Jr. uses the draft to bring 2 more guys with him, we could have a shootout.
Well, I don't know. I don't think Purvis has to worry about anybody right now.
No. Well, I don't think so, too. And I tell you one thing they need to do. They're doing a reasonably good job of drafting here, Benny, but they're not doing what they need to do. They've got to run absolutely bumper to bumper. That's when you get the most effect from the drafting. When you're sitting back there 1, 2, 3 car lengths behind the car in front of you, it's not helping that much in the draft. It's helping the cars back behind there, but it's not helping that 2nd place car that much.
They're not helping Loy Allen pick up speed.
No. In fact, might even be a little bit of a drag on him.
I would think that it is hurting Loy Allen's speed around the racetrack. You're right. Mayfield needs to pull up closer to him. But once again, these fellas, the first time that Mayfield's ever been here, I think this is probably the first time that Kirk Shelmerdine has ever run at Daytona. So it's a learning process.
And that backs up exactly what you guys are talking about. One reason that this race is so important is to give drivers that have stock car aspirations some good experience on the super speedways. 10 laps to go. 70 laps have been completed now, with Jeff Purvis still holding on to the lead. Loy Allen Jr. second, Jeremy Mayfield third, and Kirk Shelmerdine is fourth. Right back.
We've got a bit of an edge with the...
Clarksville, Tennessee leads the ARCA 200 with less than 10 laps to go. It's been a pretty easy race for Jeff. There comes second, third, and fourth. Loy Allen Jr., Jeremy Mayfield, and Kirk Shelmerdine.
There comes Kirk on the inside, trying to take it away. Can't make the pass on Mayfield. Am I seeing things, or is Loy Allen gaining?
I think he is a little bit, but not appreciably.
Well, he has pulled away from the other two a little bit, whether that makes it look closer or not, but doesn't appear to be losing much right now.
And he's doing it all by himself. Not really any help, as Ned pointed out. Meanwhile, those cars are locked up pretty good. They're in a pretty good draft.
Yeah, you get that close together, it's more effective.
But there again, they fall back in the corner.
Jerry Punch is with Purvis's car owner. Jerry.
Bob, we're with James Finch here. And James, you got to be awfully pleased with the way the car and driver have both performed here today.
I sure have. The car's been real consistent all day.
Now, you bought two other cars. This could be the beginning of a pretty good week for you.
I hope so. But Larry and Four-Car and all those people have really helped us a whole bunch in this effort here.
You think he's nervous, guys? He's dancing around back here watching his car lead, hoping it's going to hold on. This guy wants to go to victory lane.
I don't blame him. I visited there one time. It's an awfully nice place, Bob.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is it a feeling that you can describe in your old age here?
You know, people ask me, what does it feel like? I mean, it really is, folks, a first-hand experience. It's not really something that you can pass on, even to my good friend, Bob.
And usually a friendly place down there, too.
Yeah, very friendly.
Second, third, and fourth continue to battle it out for position while Jeff Purvis sets the pace. 7 laps to go.
Purvis now is pulling away.
I'm convinced he is down there, yes.
You can see it. He came up on a couple of lap cars, picked up the draft from them, went on around, and is moving away.
Jeff Purvis's best finish in an ARCA race, 1992, was third at Talladega, but he's won many all-pro races that we cover every year down in Nashville.
You know, Purvis has done a beautiful job working the traffic today, and it really hasn't slowed him down like it has, say, Loy Allen and Kirk and some of these other fellas. He just blows right on by that company.
Well, he's used it to his advantage many times. He'll come up and use the draft, pick up a little bit of speed, but he doesn't get too close to them. When he comes up on them with a lot of momentum, he doesn't run right up on their back bumper before he makes the move. He pulls out car length or two away so as to not get himself in any kind of trouble.
There we see the complete rundown. All those cars out involved in that huge crash on lap 3. Still, that's a race for second, third, fourth.
I'm sure we would have had some good battles in the back of the pack had those 20 cars remained in the race that crashed there on the third turn, but I don't think that anybody would have given Jeff Purvis any more competition than these 3 guys are.
Well, Loy Allen qualified on the outside pole, this orange and white number 2, and he's not been able to do anything with Purvis, so I doubt if anyone back in the pack could do it. Maybe Red Farmer.
Yeah, Red had a good race car.
Glott's back, of course, was in the race. He's always strong here.
And Charlie told me he was going to run the entire ARCA circuit this year.
Yep, he's going for the championship.
Rough way to start out, though. Sure is a rough race.
That's for sure.
That crash.
There's the interval, and it has widened. Purvis back to Allen, Mayfield, and Shelmerdine with now 5 laps to go.
And meanwhile, we got a pretty good race going here. Loy Allen had pulled out to a few car length advantage, but here comes Kirk on the outside trying to make a run.
He thought he had the momentum coming off of there, and I thought he had too, Benny, but once they pulled down to that inside a little bit, it seemed to break that momentum for him.
Mayfield's trying to figure out, he's the man in the middle. He says, what do I need to do? What am I doing here? What do I need to do to get in front or keep this guy behind me?
Yeah, driving offensively and defensively.
76 laps now completed. 4 to go.
There's a Chevrolet in front. That's a Ford in second place. That's a Chevrolet in third. And is that an Oldsmobile?
Oldsmobile. Kirk's driving.
Kirk's once again.
He's on the outside.
He's trying to get that momentum coming off the second turn. If he has it built up, he could pass Mayfield down the backstretch. I think he's got him. Yep, he got him.
Good move.
Kirk Shelmerdine has taken over that third spot. Now, I'm sure he's telling Mayfield, he's giving the motion, the hand signal, get in line, and let's run up and try to catch that 2 car. We're running out of laps, about 3 laps to go once we get back to the line. Now, the 2 cars trying to break the draft. You see him move down to the inside.
I believe with the spoiler, as large as it is on these cars, though, that he might be able to pick up the draft of Allen. Opening up a pretty good amount of air, a lot of vacuum there.
Now less than 3 laps to go. Jeff Purvis has things well in hand, and Loy Allen Jr. now has quite a bit of separation between himself and Shelmerdine, but Kirk and Jeremy will try to chase him down.
It looks like Kirk Shelmerdine is running wide open.
Yeah, I think he is.
When he was behind Mayfield, he was not able to do that, but we can see how much faster he is once he got in front.
Yeah, he has pulled away from him. And now appears to be gaining on Loy Allen.
Looks like he is. What is it, 2 laps to go?
Yeah, he's running out of time, though, because there's the 78 lap mark. Next time around, they'll see the white flag.
I think he's going to catch it.
Yeah, I think he'll catch it. Now, whether he'll have enough momentum once he gets to him to move on by, well, time will tell.
Yes, I think it's going to depend on where he catches him. If he catches him off a corner, he might be able to pass.
And battling for position 2 laps down, the number 18 car driven by Robert Ham.
And Craig Rubright in 15.
Yeah, the 15 car, Craig Rubright.
7th and 8th they're battling for.
They may be a couple of laps down to the leader, but positions are important to each driver. White flag is coming out to Jeff Purvis. Here he comes, crossing the stripe. 1 more lap to go. It is still Loy Allen Jr. leading Kirk Shelmerdine. I don't know, guys. I don't think Kirk's going to catch him.
I don't think he is either now.
I thought he was going to, but you're right. It doesn't appear as he can.
Loy doing a great job holding that car right in the groove that he needs to be, just as Jeff Purvis is.
Well, the former dirt late model champion in 1983, Jeff Purvis, is headed toward his first ARCA victory. He has dominated this race probably about as much as I've seen recently.
Kirk is moving closer as they come into turn 4, but I don't think he's going to be able to pass him, but he is going to catch him by the time they get to the start-finish line, or almost catch him.
Here comes Purvis off the 4th corner onto the tri-oval, crossing the stripe. Jeff Purvis wins the ARCA 200. There's 2nd place Loy Allen. He finishes about 2 car lengths ahead of Kirk Shelmerdine, and the 4th place goes to Jeremy Mayfield. And there's the celebration in Jeff Purvis's pit. He has won the ARCA 200. Now, here's this battle for 7th position between Rubright and the 18 car of Robert Ham.
Looks like Rubright's going to get it. That's the white car in front.
Yep, he did. John Kernan is with James Finch.
James, you lost your hat, but Gary gave you the radio there for those last few laps. Did you talk at all to Jeff?
No, he wasn't saying much. He was just letting it go.
As Jerry asked you earlier, you've got a pretty good deal here coming with Larry McClure helping you. He's selling you those cars. A little bit loud down here with all the cars, but going by, finishing up the race. But this could be the start of a really big week for you guys. What a way to kick it off.
I hope so. We're going to try and qualify for the 500 tomorrow or Tuesday. We had a little problem with the car Saturday, during tech Thursday, I guess.
Well, that's James Finch, the car owner for Jeff Purvis. He is headed on his way to victory lane.
So we'll probably see him in the Goodies 200 next Saturday, and we'll look for him in the Daytona 500. Purvis's car has been stopped just off of the 4th corner on pit road. The 2nd place car of Loy Allen Jr. lining up behind.
I would guess that they're going to measure the rear spoiler.
Yeah, exactly what they're doing.
To make sure that they're 50 degrees what they're supposed to be. Because 2 or 3 degrees is speed.
Just 4 cars finished on the lead lap, and those 4, in addition to the 5th place car of Bobby Boucher, have lined up there and will get their spoilers checked before it's ruled official. Purvis has climbed out of the car, though.
congratulated by the ARCA official.
Phoenix Construction Chevrolet. Young Clarksville, Tennessee driver has won in dramatic style here at Daytona.
What's he looking for? Making sure he didn't. He's going to check that right front because he hadn't changed tires. He ran 200 miles on that same set of tires. So there they are checking the spoiler. Loy Allen coming over, congratulating him.
Well,
it's okay.
I think it's official.
Yes.
The congratulations from the ARCA official indicating everything's okay with the spoiler, and Jeff Purvis can now be declared the official winner of the ARCA 200.
And he can drive this thing down to victory lane and continue on with the picture. He said, we're going to push the car.
Well, that was just the first of 2 events that we're covering for you on ESPN here at Daytona. Next Saturday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, that's 5 Pacific Time, we'll have same-day coverage of the Goodies 300, always one of the best races of all in Stock Car Speed Weeks here at Daytona. We will be back with a full field rundown and, of course, our winner interview with Jeff Purvis when we return to Daytona International Speedway. SeaWorld, great attraction down in the Orlando area. We want to thank Airship Shamu and SeaWorld for providing the overhead shots, as you see right now, over Victory Lane. Now, moments ago, remember the car stopped up to get its spoiler checked up toward turn number 4. Then the car came into Victory Lane, but it didn't have a driver in it.
Watch as everyone says, hey, where's the driver? Wait a minute.
Everybody's looking for Jeff Purvis. Where's the driver?
Larry Beluska, the PR director here at the Daytona International Speedway.
We found him. Jerry?
Well, we found Jeff Purvis. The car came in a minute ago, but he wasn't in the car. I mean, that's excitement. You jumped out of the car and decided to walk down pit road as you get some of the family here to share this victory. Jeff, congratulations on a wonderful win.
Thanks. I tell you what, the crew did such a good job. The car, it just never faltered all day long. It stayed out there, and it's just too easy right there.
I know you weren't involved, but what did you see in your rearview mirror on lap 3 when it all broke loose there in the 3rd turn?
I saw my chances of winning increasing right there rapidly, but they were running side by side, and I saw them, just almost banging doors down the straightaway, and I figured we better get it straightened down as quick as we could, but I never did know who broke loose first. I never did know what happened. I came back around and I saw cars just sitting everywhere, skid marks everywhere.
The same crew, James Finch, the car owner, Gary Ballou, the crew chief, the beginning of what could be a big week for you.
Well, it really could. We've still got a couple more races coming up down here. We still got to qualify for the Winston Cup race, and if I could just get the Winston Cup car running like this one right here, I believe we'd be a contender.
Jeff Purvis picks up win number 1 in ARCA competition, winning the ARCA 200. Let's go up to the garage area where a very happy Kirk Shelmerdine is standing by with John Kernan.
Well, Kirk, you get a lot of attention from the media whenever you were working as crew chief for Dale Earnhardt. This has to be a little bit better for you. Here, your driver, a great run today, 3rd. I mean, things are looking up as far as your driving career.
Well, I still don't want to call it a career. I think we had a real good car today, and we ended up having a good finishing spot. Switch hats here. I had a pretty good break there at the first of the race when we missed that big mess they had, but I think thank the spotter, Craig Donnelly, for that. He's been with us a long time, and he's a neighbor of mine. He does a real good job spotting for us, and he saved my tail there. But that right there passed most of the cars for me. I just sort of rode around, and I had my car a little bit too tight there at the end. That I'd push off a 2 if I didn't do it just right, and I said it that way. I didn't really know what to expect here at Daytona, so next time we'll know, I guess.
Now, a question about the uniforms. You borrow this from Dale, or is this from your old days at Richard Childress?
This is my tire-changing uniform. It's the only one I got.
You going to be able to buy another one now?
I don't know what this race paid. We'll see.
Kirk Shelmerdine, after a fine 3rd-place finish, I think we'll see him behind the wheel and running up front later this year.
All right, thank you, John. Big smile, obviously, from Kirk's face. He's a happy guy after really turning in a good performance here and finishing 3rd.
I got to tell you a story. When I first came to Daytona in 1965, let's go ahead with a recap. I'll tell you a story in a moment, Bob.
Jeff led 71 of the 80 laps, 3 caution periods, total of 12 laps, 6 lead changes among the 4 drivers, and the average speed was 143.8. Loy Allen Jr. finished in second position, and we will be back to talk with him when we return to Daytona International Speedway. The ARCA 200 has been won by Jeff Purvis.
working at AutoZone.
Down here at Daytona for Winston Cup practice coming up following the conclusion of the ARCA 200, and we urge you to stick around on ESPN at 8 o'clock tonight. It's the Pro Bowl from Honolulu. Here's John Kernan.
Loy, a fine run for you today, second place finish. You told me earlier today you wanted to hook up with Red Farmer and go back to drafting school, if you will, but that wreck took him out, but you still were able to learn a few things today.
Oh, I was. I got a lot of experience with other cars around the racetrack. It was a pretty good day. The Hooters Jasper Power Ford ran really well all day. The Chevrolet with Purvis, he was pretty strong. But still, we got a lot of experience today.
What about Purvis? I mean, was there anything that you could have for him at the end? Were you guys trying to hook up there in a three-car draft? Could you have been able to have, hunt him down, maybe past him?
It would have been really hard. We took a little bit of bite out of the car, and the car picked up a little bit. I think Purvis slowed down with about 2 laps to go. It'd have been tight there at the end, but I think Purvis, he was pretty fast today.
That's Loy Allen Jr., a fine second-place finish for today. Let's go down pit road to Dr. Jerry Punch, who's caught up with Red Farmer.
Well, a man who won his first race back in 1949, some 44 years ago, Red Farmer, what a way to end it early here with just a few laps of racing.
Well, it sure was, especially because we know we had such a real good car. We finally found our problem after qualifying yesterday. Went out and ran some practice laps right at 190 miles an hour, so we knew we had something for him today. I was just sitting there riding, taking it easy, waiting for the field to get strung out so I could make my move. We just sitting there bumper to bumper like a pace lap, and when the chain reaction crash started right in front of us, there was nowhere to go, and it took out, 20 cars and probably 15 of the best cars. So when you take out the front of the field like that, it really, kills the racing.
Would you reconsider possibly run one more super speedway event since you didn't really get to finish today?
Well, I don't know. I would like to, but I really wanted to go out winning my last race on the super speedway, but I pretty well promised everybody that would be my last one, so I'm going to try to stick to it and just stay with running my short tracks on the dirt cars and the half miles and stuff, and then work for Davey on the Busch cars.
Now, wait a minute. We go back to Talladega here in a couple of months. That's the home state, the home crowd. Davey can get this car fixed, and that brings a smile, maybe?
Well, I would probably like to do that. I like Talladega and Daytona is the only really big tracks I like to race on anymore. And naturally, I like to win Talladega again, too. I won it twice. I like to win it 3 times, but that's down the road right now. Of course, if you retire, you're always allowed to come out of retirement a couple times, right?
Now, wait a minute. What's this on your hat? Is that you getting ready to go fishing here? You got a fish hooker. You're ready to go over to the lake.
No, in the morning, like I say, one day you're hero, the next day you're zero. Tomorrow I go back to zero. We unload the Busch car in the morning at 6 o'clock, start getting Davey ready for the 300 next week. So next week I'm starting to be a crew chief in the morning.
A crew chief in the morning. What a way for a legend to say goodbye. 60-year-old Red Farmer, over 700 career victories. He calls it quits here after a short afternoon. Bob?
Red Farmer competed here at Daytona in 1959. He drove a 37 Ford Coupe in the Modified Sportsman 200 and finished 23rd in a field of 52. Now the crash that you may have missed that happened on the 3rd lap of the event.
There's the blue car. Goes up. That's Bob Shack. Makes contact with the red car 10 feet away. These cars started 3rd and 4th. That's where they were running, and just totally blocked the racetrack. Man, oh, man. Nowhere to go. Smoke. The racetrack completely blocked. And, 22 cars, Ned, we finally figure out maybe piled into that?
About half of the field was involved in that accident, and most of them were taken out totally.
But again, no injuries to any drivers, and so that's the best news. Now, Benny, this little boy here wearing the white T-shirt, I have a feeling there's some significance to that T-shirt.
Well, we talked about Kirk Shermerdine's uniform, and that was his pit crew changing uniform that he wore to drive a race car. In 1965, when I came here, that was my uniform. A white T-shirt and a pair of pants, and they said you can't drive there. You got to have flame-proof clothing. So what's the matter? I don't have a uniform, so I had to go buy a pair of $8 coveralls and douse them with this chemical and rendered them flame-proof.
Boy.
So $8 for a uniform.
And you, like Kirk Shermerdine, finished 3rd in the race.
I finished 3rd in car number 98.
How about that?
Amazing.
So a lot of parallels.
Similarities.
Yes.
Well, the ARCA schedule as far as ESPN is concerned at Talladega, at Pocono, and the final race of 93 at Atlanta. Back with more from Daytona in a moment. Camus with the overhead shot of victory lane here at Daytona as Jeff Purvis is having his picture taken. He is the winner of today's ARCA 200. On the racetrack, meanwhile, the Winston Cup cars are qualifying, practicing rather. Second round qualifying will be tomorrow here at the 2.5-mile tri-oval.
That's Bobby Labonte in the Maxwell House Ford Thunderbird.
Yesterday, we determined the front row for the Daytona 500. Kyle Petty will be the pole sitter at 189.426, and Dale Jarrett on the outside of the front row, 189.274. The defending champion of the ARCA Series finished in 5th position, Bobby Boucher. Here's Jerry.
Now, it may not seem like much of an accomplishment if you didn't see the beginning of the race, folks, but this guy did one heck of a job. How'd you miss that mess in lap 3 over there?
I don't know. I tell you, I kind of backed up from the start a little bit, and I knew that something was going to happen, just a matter of time. And when I seen the smoke start flying and the parts going everywhere, I just, decided which way I was going to go and went on from there. But I just went down off the banking and tried to get a hole to go through and couldn't really see much of anything, but we just come through it all right.
2 seconds in a row, now a 5th in the same race car. Got to feel like maybe you got that same lucky rabbit's foot for this season?
Well, he's carrying the lucky rat today, but it wasn't too lucky to us. But yeah, well, it's a good start to the season. Can't be, too hard on ourselves about not running better. But we got a good start to the season. Get this Quality Farm Fleet Ford Thunderbird up front in the points, going to Pensacola and try to defend the title.
Now, what do you want to do? I know you enjoy ARCA racing. That's where Dad raced, won 3 championships. You won your first one. What's the ultimate goal?
Winston Cup, no doubt. We're trying to work towards that, and a lot of sacrifice goes into this deal, and that's what I've been working for, is Winston Cup. And as long as we keep digging and going the way we're going, I think we're going to make it.
This young man has a very good chance of making that dream come true. Let's go up to John Kernan, who's standing by with Frank Kimmel. John?
Well, Jerry, earlier we said that Bobby had missed it by closing his eyes. Frank also missed that big wreck. Now, Frank, do you really close your eyes, or do you have to watch?
Well, I squinted a little bit, yeah. There was a lot of smoke. You couldn't really see where you were going. I was just very fortunate and lucky that was able to get through it.
Now, this is only your 2nd time ever racing here at Daytona, and you post a 6th place finish. I mean, you learned a lot during that rookie season.
Yeah, we really had a good season. The car ran good all year for us. We didn't have very many problems at all on the speedways. So it was a good run for us. We got to run close to the front occasionally, and it was a good experience.
Now, you won the Rookie of the Year title last year. This year, full schedule. Do you think you can make a bid for the championship, win some races?
We're hoping to. If we can get up there, we ran 5th this past year, and we've got our sponsors back, and we're hoping that we can improve on what we did last year, maybe win a few races.
What about future plans, different forms of racing?
Well, it's everybody'd like to get out there and practice right now with these guys, and that's what we'd like to do. And it just takes a little more time, a lot more experience. So we'll just keep struggling along with what we're doing.
That's the defending Rookie of the Year, Frank Kimmel, with a fine 6th place finish today.
And Frank Kimmel, as he indicated, would like to be out there with these Winston Cup cars, practicing and trying to find some more speed. ESPN is the place to be for NASCAR Winston Cup racing in 1993. 15 big races are on the schedule, beginning March 28 with the Trans-South 500 at Darlington, South Carolina. Then Bristol, North Wilkesboro, Martinsville, the short track season, the first half of it. After Martinsville, we'll move to the Super Speedway at Talladega, then to the road course, then to the Super Speedway at Pocono. The first half of the season will be completed right here at Daytona with the Pepsi 400. Then ESPN cameras move back to the road course at Watkins Glen, the 2-mile high bank tri-oval at Michigan International, the short track at Bristol, then Darlington once again, and we're not finished yet. The Goodies 500 from Martinsville comes in September, then North Wilkesboro when we'll wrap it up at Atlanta, Georgia. Full field rundown of this ARCA race when we come back in just a moment. Well, there was an exciting moment on the 3rd lap of the ARCA race this afternoon when multi-car chain reaction crash broke out. This is how it looked from the pedigree in-car camera carried by Jim Sauter.
You can see that Mike Wallace turns right in front of him sideways. And here comes a car. Boom. They meet head on, and he goes down and runs in the side of Mike Wallace, I believe, but in the smoke. That's about what the visibility looks for a race car driver when he goes in the corner like that.
Just getting knocked around like a pinball. Jim Sauter was able to come back and complete a few laps. Now here is a complete field rundown. Jeff Purvis, of course, the winner, with Loy Allen Jr. 2nd, Kirk Shelmerdine 3rd, Jeremy Mayfield 4th. Those 4 cars on the lead lap, and Bobby Boucher, the defending ARCA champion, finished in 5th position.
6 through 10, Frank Kimmel, Craig Rubright, Robert Hand, Andy Hillenberg, and David Simcoe. That was the 10th.
And 11th through 15th, Bob Keselowski, Larry Zent, Glenn Brewer, Bubba Urban, and Ken Allen.
Finishing in 16th position was Rick Shepard, then Joe Nemorowski, Ron Burchett, David Hall, and Sauter finished 20th.
21st, John Stratton. We saw him hit the wall up in turn 2. Andy Stone, 22nd. Bob Breback, 23rd. Bobby Daughter, 24th. And Tim Steele, 25th.
26th through 30th, Jeff McClure, Jerry O'Neill, 27th, Red Farmer, in 28th, Bobby Gearhart, and Bill Venturini.
And these guys, of course, involved in that crash. Mike Wallace was 31st, Charlie Glotzbach, 32nd, then Fedewa, Bob Schacht, and Peter Gibbons.
36 through 40 was Gary Bradbury, Jimmy Horton, Harry Teague, Dale Fishline, and Mark Thompson.
And finally, 41st and 42nd, Billy Thomas and Alan Pruitt. A reminder coming up at 8 o'clock tonight, Eastern Time. These 200 coming up next Saturday, and we have a couple of live Speed Weeks for you next weekend, including the call-in show on Saturday night. At 8 o'clock next Saturday night, our same-day coverage of the Goodies 300. Once again, our congratulations to Jeff Purvis, who was the winner of the ARCA 200 here today. For Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Joe.
The big weekend at Daytona International Speedway starts on a sour note. Driver Joe Boer is dead after an accident during this morning's Florida 200 ARCA NASCAR dash. Head and internal injuries are listed as the cause of death in Daytona, Florida tonight.
Sunday's big race. Here comes 51-year-old Joe Boer right here hitting the wall and was hit again. You can't see it because of the smoke, but that was the impact that caused his death, suffering massive injuries, and later was pronounced dead at a local hospital. 51-year-old Joe Boer today at Daytona.
Driver Joe Boer was killed today in the Florida 200 NASCAR dash. The first time a driver's been killed at Daytona in 3 years. And that is obviously some terrible news. And by the way,
Boer was killed when Rodney White drove into his car. White is in serious condition with 2 compression fractures of his vertebrae, but no paralysis. Boer died of massive internal and head injuries. He was 51 years old.
Still ahead on sports.